It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
America shops at Radio Shack for everything in radios. Radios for wake-ups, sit-ups, weathercasts, newscasts, CBers, CDers, shortwavers, space savers, stereo mates, playmates, radios that are wettable, petable, and simply unforgettable.
Story begins in Boston in 1921. Two brothers, Theodore and Milton Deutschmann, opened a small store to serve ham radio operators and amateur electronics hobbyists. They named it Radio Shack, a nod to the small wooden shacks that housed ship radio equipment at the time. For decades, it stayed a niche business, a mail-order catalog for tinkerers, engineers, and radio enthusiasts. Useful, but hardly a household name. That changed in 1963 when a struggling Radio Shack, then just 2 stores and deep in debt, was bought by a leather goods company run by Charles Tandy. Tandy saw something others didn't. America was becoming a nation of hobbyists, and hobbyists needed parts. Resistors, capacitors, wires, connectors, the raw materials of electronics. Under Tandy's direction, Radio Shack expanded fast, opening stores and strip malls across the country, stocked with components no other retailer carried. By the mid-1970s, something new was stirring in electronics: the personal computer. Companies like Apple and Commodore were racing to bring computing into ordinary homes. Radio Shack didn't want to be left behind. In 1977, it released the TRS-80, nicknamed half-jokingly the Trash 80 by some engineers, though it would go on to become one of the best-selling computers of its era. What made the TRS-80 revolutionary wasn't just the hardware. It was distribution. Radio Shack already had thousands of stores in nearly every mid-sized American town. Suddenly, buying a computer didn't require mail order or a trip to a specialty shop. You could walk into your local strip mall and walk out with a working computer. Alongside Apple and Commodore, Radio Shack became one of the 1977 Trinity, the 3 companies credited with launching the home computer revolution. Sales exploded. By the early 1980s, Radio Shack operated over 7,000 stores across the United States, and the company's parent, Tandy Corporation, was a Fortune 500 giant.
The RF converter output of unit XLT735B is preset to VHF channel 3 prior to shipment. Wait, the RF converter output of unit XLT735B is preset to VHF channel 3 prior to shipment. But the RF converter output of unit XLT735B is preset to VHF channel 3 prior to shipment.
Any questions? Radio Shack has over 25,000 people with simple answers to complicated questions. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Through the 1980s and 90s, Radio Shack became a fixture of American retail. Its slogan, "You've got questions, we've got answers," captured its identity. A place where knowledgeable staff could help you find the exact battery, cable, or part you needed, no matter how obscure. It sold cordless phones, early cell phones, walkie-talkies, remote control cars, and, or crucially, the individual electronic components that hardware hobbyists couldn't find anywhere else. For an entire generation of engineers, tinkerers, and future tech workers, Radio Shack was where curiosity about electronics began. But beneath the surface, warning signs were building. The 1990s and 2000s brought 2 forces Radio Shack was unprepared for. First, big box electronics retailers. Best Buy and Circuit City offered wider selection, lower prices, and modern store layouts. Radio Shack's small format stores, once its greatest strength, became a weakness. There simply wasn't room to compete on selection. Second, and far more disruptive, the internet. Online retail meant customers no longer needed a nearby store to find niche components or gadgets. Amazon could deliver almost anything to your door, often cheaper. Radio Shack tried to adapt, rebranding, updating store designs, shifting towards cell phones and accessories, but it struggled to define what it actually was anymore. Was it a hobbyist parts store, a phone retailer, a general electronics shop? The company's identity blurred, and customers noticed employee commission structures pushed toward aggressive upselling, which damaged the trust that had once been Radio Shack's calling card. The knowledgeable, helpful clerk became, in many customers' eyes, a pushy salesperson. By the 2010s, Radio Shack was hemorrhaging money. Between 2010 and 2014, the company posted heavy losses nearly every quarter. Store count shrank, executives cycled through the top job. Turnaround plans came and went without success. In February 2015, RadioShack filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Roughly 1,700 stores closed. The RadioShack brand and a small number of stores were sold off, but the company that had once operated over 7,000 locations was a shadow of itself. It wasn't enough. In 2017, RadioShack filed for bankruptcy a second time. Hundreds more stores closed. The physical retail chain that millions of Americans grew up walking into was, for all practical purposes, gone. But RadioShack's story didn't end there. It just got stranger. The brand was bought and sold multiple times, eventually becoming primarily an online retailer, licensing its name to a handful of franchise locations rather than operating stores itself. In one particularly bizarre chapter, RadioShack's official social media accounts were used to promote cryptocurrency projects, confusing longtime fans and drawing headlines mocking how far the once iconic brand had fallen from its engineering roots. Today, RadioShack exists mostly as a name, a logo attached to an e-commerce site, a handful of independent franchise stores, and a wave of nostalgia among people who remember building their first radio kit, buying their first computer, or asking a store clerk for that little battery, the flat round one.
Okay.
What?
The 80s called. They want their store back.
It's time for a new Radio Shack. Come see what's possible when we do things together.
RadioShack's rise and fall is in many ways the story of American retail itself, a company built on being local, knowledgeable, and adaptable that eventually couldn't keep up with bigger stores, cheaper prices, and a world that moved online. But for decades, it was more than a store. It was where a generation of engineers, hobbyists, and dreamers got their start. One resistor, one battery, one trash 80 at a time.
Hi, I'm Daisy Fuentes, and this is Shack TV, the new show that takes an inside look at Radio Shack. From great new products, easy answers to tough electronics questions, and a holiday gift guide to behind the scenes of your favorite commercials. It's all about the Shack, all right here.
It's Radio Shack for the easy answer solutions to your audio questions. Get great names and portable audio now at Radio Shack. Choose from Sony, Philips, Panasonic, Memorex, and more. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Hi, I'm Chris Henderson, forward for the Colorado Rapids, and you're watching Shack TV.